Please go ahead.
All right. So before going ahead, can we have everyone on mute just so that we don't have... Okay, that's great to know. All right. So in today's demo session, I think we are just going to cover Sling in more depth because this is one of the various components over the AEM itself, which is very important from the request standpoint or maybe the overall standpoint, because the whole of the communication in the Sling, right, or in the AEM, it happens using the Sling framework. Sling framework is nothing, but it's the one that sits on top of the AEM, right? It provides us all the communications. Okay, so Sling's job is to handle the request coming into AEM and to resolve the resources within the JCR itself. For example, if we are going to have a page that is /a slash content /a/HTML, right? So at that time, what exactly happens is the Sling is sitting on the top of my AEM instance itself. So here is my AEM, here is my Sling, right? Basically it resists inside the AEM itself, but just for the understanding, we are just keeping it over here. So whenever the request comes over here, so it intercepts the request at the first place, right? And it will try to resolve the resource for us from the JCR. And JCR is nothing but what? It is Java Content Repository, where all of our stuff is lying in the form of node structure, right? As simple as that. Okay, so it was a fairly simple one, so I just kept it quite simple. Okay, so this is just a basic definition that I wanted to just let you know what exactly the Sling does. So Sling is nothing but a framework that sits on top of the AEM, intercepts all your requests, and helps you provide with the REST implementation to talk to each other. Either it's a JCR, either it's OSGI. So everywhere Sling plays its role. Okay, so coming back to the Sling architecture. So Sling architecture is nothing but an open source framework that's make it easy to develop content oriented applications, right? So Sling can be defined as a from the REST framework. As we all know, what is a REST framework? REST framework is nothing but the one that uses HTTP to transfer data over the network, right? Using some methods like GET, POST, and all of these. Okay, using the basic protocols, that is HTTP 1.1 or maybe 2.1, 2.0 that we are using these days, right? So it is just a framework that provides us a content driven approach using JCR repository that is powered by OSGI, using the scripts and the JavaScript to process our HTTP requests from end to end. So Sling application is a set of OSGI bundles that uses OSGI core and companion services. Okay, so that is a straightforward one. I don't need to explain anything. So Sling is a resource oriented. It maps into the resource node, as I've already told you over here. Like the way we calls a particular page, it resolves it into a resource, and from the resource, it takes us to the script. Okay. So just to take an example of the Sling resolution, how it happens. So for example, we are going to have a page. Let's say it is /content /a.html somewhere in our repository. Okay, so user comes up and he says for the same path, he says, okay, you know what, I wanted to access this particular page itself. Okay, so what will happen is Sling will go to the repository and try to find the resource against it. So where it will go, actually it will go in our JCR repository and tries to find for this particular resource, that is content /a, right? So when it finds that particular resource, and that resource is nothing but a node that will be lying inside our AEM. And what this node will be containing? Properties, right? Maybe the dialog properties or some of the properties that has been defined. Either it can be a JCR title that is lying, maybe some other properties, it can be any, right? The main thing I wanted to conclude from here is it will be having a Sling resource type, right? As the name suggests, Sling resource type is nothing but the resource type of that particular node, right? Because in AEM, we used to have a content driven approach. From content driven approach, we understand that content is the king. Content tells us what is going to be the script. That's how our CMS, that is AEM, works on top of it, right? We never specifies that, okay, for a.html, we are going to have that script. No, first of all, we get the content from the node, right? In that particular node, what will be lying? Our content, JCR title and everything is nothing but properties of my content. And from there, it will say, okay, you know what? This is where the whole processing is lying. So this may be having a path that says apps slash trading slash component slash content, and then my simple component, that is a.html, that will be lying over there, right? That will take your inputs from that particular request, because that particular request will be having all of these properties embedded into that particular request. Okay. So then this particular HTML will receive all the contents from here, right? It will get passed on to here, and then we can utilize them using dollar properties dot title. For example, it's a title that we are trying to print, right? As simple as that. In an H1 tag. Nothing complex about it. Okay. So now what happened is how Sling tried to resolve it. So Sling tried to replicate the things in a particular manner, or we can say in a particular order, in the way the nodes are lying, or maybe the addresses are lying. And even you must have heard of this particular approach. This is very common these days to use. Hate OS. I think that's a correct one. Yeah. So that basically tells us a technique like we used to have in our HTML, where we used to have our hyperlinks maintained, right? And how these hyperlinks contact to each other. For example, I am having a fresh new HTML page that is nothing but a plain home page, right? So my home page is having a link to my landing page, right? It is saying link over here somewhere. So when we click on this particular link, it will take me to the landing page. Right. So at that time, what is happening? So one page is taking the reference to the other page, right? It is getting a link to get to the other page, right? That is a technique that is used in this particular concept, ATOS, right? And in the same way, our Sling is utilizing it. How? When we are going to that particular content node, that is slash content slash a.html, at that time, it is trying to resolve it using the Sling resource type. And then Sling resource type is pointing to somewhere else, right? That, okay, here is where you need to go to resolve the script. It goes over there, gets a resource, and put the content inside that particular script and maps it well and presents you a page, right? And loads a page onto your screen, renders it. Okay. Any confusion or any questions still here?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, that's great. All right. Okay, so that was a brief about this thing, Sling. Okay, so I hope that must get you with two ideas over here. So one idea that we got from this whole explanation is that it is nothing but a REST-based framework, right? So whenever we are talking about yeah, right, whenever we are talking about that a request comes in, response goes out, that all of the stuff is handled on the basis of this single framework, that is Sling framework over here, right? That is the first idea that we got from here. Second is it uses a HETOS approach to basically resolve our resources. So for Sling, everything, every request or every response, it has a simple approach of taking everything as a resource. It considers every URI as a resource only. From resources, tries to resolve those resources using resource resolver or maybe anything. It just resolves it, gets you the complete path, and from there you will be able to access that particular rendered resource itself, right? Using a basic REST principles. Okay. So it is quite good to say over here in Sling, a request first resolves it into a resource, and then based on that particular resource, it selects a servlet or a script that needs to be rendered against that particular resource, right? Okay. So from there, we got a pretty much good idea understanding the Sling performance and how it basically works and the approaches that it takes. So from here, let's try to dig a little bit into the RESTful framework, right? REST-based framework, basically. That's what we can call it, right? So REST is a style of software architecture to distributed hypermedia systems such as the World Wide Web, WWW. Yeah. Okay. So systems using architecture, uh, yeah, with each other using the HTTP, using GET, POST, and other methods are known to be in this particular standard of RESTful framework approach. So if we try to see how the RESTful architecture looks like, that is how it looks like. So over here, these are the formats that our RESTful architecture supports. When we communicate to each other in a RESTful architecture, it is used to be in JSON or in RSS, POX, JCR, etc. These are all the formats in which we can traverse our data from one point of interaction to the other point. And these all are the methods that are the usual methods like get, post, delete, put that are used to make any call. Get is just to get the things, post is just to submit some form or anything. Delete is as the name suggests, it is a delete request. Post it, put it, it's nothing but a update request that comes along, right? And there is a resource URI on top of it that everything works. URI is nothing, again, the identifier which identifies that where your resource is lying, and then your application. So these REST principles sits on top of your application. If you are having an application and you want to make it REST, you create some methods and use some framework that will expose all your methods using a RESTful architecture. That is how the REST works. Okay. So systems using the REST service involves the collection of resources. REST is an architectural style for network architecture and to induce the architectural properties for the same www. Nothing more than that. It's just a plain HTTP principles, or we can say protocols that are used to travel data from one node to another using the RESTful architecture, right? So from here, we are at least able to understand a brief overview, very brief overview alongside that is about the Sling and the RESTful services. Okay, so let's now we can dig into the system user. That is again a concept in the AEM itself. Okay, so before starting over that, let's try to understand the problem statement, that why we are able, why we need to have a service user or anything like that, or what is a service user even, right? So in AEM, everything is going to get stored in the JCR, right? That we all know, Java Content Repository. Okay. Now, if the resources are going to store, when we are going to create a service or a model, at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is we are trying to retrieve the data from these nodes, and in the service or the model, we are doing the manipulations using any logical programming, that is Java, that we use. Okay, that's the only thing that we used to do in service and the model. Not the only thing, but most of the times that's what we are doing? We are grabbing some data from the JCR, getting all the value map or the properties from there, and just reading them through and do a manipulation on top of it and use some sort of a container, either a list container. I don't want to get into the details of it. You are even more familiar with all of the collection frameworks. So we are getting the uh, properties from the nodes. We are manipulating it at top of it and then serving it back to our UI, either using the model, either using the service, right? So even before that, let's try to dig in a little bit into a service and a model. So service is nothing but the one that passes, that basically help us to communicate between two or more components inside the OSGI, right? So in the service, basically in shorter words or in a layman terms, you can understand it like that. The one where business logic is lying, right? The important business logic lies inside this service, okay? And model is nothing but a plain object, that is POJO, that basically gets served to our HTML scripts so that the data can be rendered using the getters, or maybe set using the setters, right? That is very less frequently that we use, but yeah, that is one thing that we mostly uses. Okay, now there is a use case that says, okay, you know what? We are going to have a heading, right? Heading component where we are going to put a heading that is going to be provided by the author itself in some format, and we are going to make it uppercase, right? Okay, so maybe that's a use case. So how can we do that? One way is that we can just retrieve this particular authored value, right? Even I don't want it to switch it. Is there a way that I can? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so one way is, oh, sorry, that we can over here grab the properties that are lying inside that authorable JCR properties, right? JCR node that says, okay, description or the heading or heading, whatever. Sorry, I started with description. Okay, is sample heading, something like that. So a use case is to have this sample heading get converted into the uppercase whenever it is going to be rendered in my HTML. So how can we logically do that? So for that, what we can do is we can create a simple model. Okay, again, model is nothing but a POJO. Over here, there are multiple ways, but this is how I am going to do it. So request will be having my resource, right? The Sling request that is going to have the resource. So request dot get resource will get the resource object of that particular page, right? This will provide me my resource object. Okay. From the resource, I can be easily able to get the value map. Value map is nothing but all the properties that are lying inside that particular resource is what I can get using the value map. I'm calling it VP somehow. Yeah. Okay. So in value map, now I am having all the properties. Can I not get this property saying value map dot get and then specifying my property name and maybe saying string dot class, what is going to be the class to which it is going to map? Okay. And now I will be having my heading lying over here. And on top of it, I can create a simple getter, right? I can write this whole in an init method. That's a separate discussion altogether. Then I can create a simple get heading method. What it will provide me is heading dot to uppercase, right? And that's how we can be able to manipulate the value that we are getting from the authoring dialog, and we have converted it to the uppercase. And now using the HTML, HTL itself, we can be able to make a use of this particular one by saying model dot heading, right? And that's how we can be able to populate the heading itself, whatever the value we are getting from this get heading. Okay. So till here, we are able to understand that what exactly we used to do with a simple use case, that what we used to do with the model. That's how we used to use it. Basically, we retrieve some values from the JCR node. We can do the manipulations on top of it, and then provide a getter that will provide us all the details. Okay. Now there is another use case that comes along, and that says, okay, I am having an e-commerce website. And in that particular e-commerce website, I want to find all of the users, not all of the users, but yeah, all of the articles, right? That are, or maybe the products. It is a e-commerce, let's call it products. Okay. Products that are tagged with t-shirt. Right? So now how can we do that? First thing that comes up is whenever we have such type of questioning scenarios, that why can't we go ahead and put some sort of a query, right, on top of a database when it comes to database, on top of the JCR when it comes to a repository. So we are like, okay, yeah, we can do that, obviously, because this, when we say tag with t-shirt, it doesn't mean anything more than CQ tag is t-shirt, right? That's it. That is going to be the property lying in my JCR. CQ tag equal to t-shirt. Okay. So for that, we need to find all of my content that is having CQ tag equal to t-shirt. So it's a fairly simple one, but yeah, for that, we need to have access to my repository. That's the first thing that I'm looking for, right? Because if I want to make a query to a JCR, or you can understand it like that, if you want to make a query in your database, you always need to make a login, right? And why do you need to make a login? To have a authorized access to all the resources, because this all can be a critical information. So for that, you may how we usually do when we used to have a Java and a SQL thing. In that part, we may maybe create a data source object, right? That will, where we can specify the password and the login, right? And then it will contact to SQL, and there it will make a query and get you the result. In the similar fashion, when we are trying to access a repository, the JCR repository, we need to have a mechanism on top of it that can provide us the authority, right? So that no hacker or anyone can come over here and make the query on top of it, right? If somehow somebody gets access to your AEM or till anywhere, so at that time, we need to have a authority or ACLs implemented on the top of the content. And till 6.0, we are not having that particular authority or a, you know, such type of concept of a service user or anything, where we need to specify as user or anything to make a call to our JCR repository to grab the stuff out of it and make a manipulations on top of it. So till 6.0 or 6.2 even, we used to have this method, get administrative resource service user, right? And then we say null, something like that. That's the usual approach we used to pass. And we are able to get our resource resolver object. So sorry, I'm assuming some of the things that you guys may know and trying to test those concepts subsequently. So is it fine, or you can just let me know if the things are going above the head?
Yeah, it is fine, Devansh.
Okay, so you are familiar with these concepts, right? Resource resolver and everything.
Resource resolver and getting through the null admin login.
So I have a couple of questions, sir, which is the same.
Sure.
So, do we walk through the content of I mean to say the index? Robert?
Can you come again? Maybe I
Yeah,
missed
so the
on that.
curriculum,
Yeah.
the kind of curriculum of the
Okay.
course.
Yeah, we can come along it if you guys are good to stop it over here, or so that we are not going through random stuff in between.
Yeah, so can we have a look on that curriculum? What course that what the entire
Okay.
this thing will cover, and what is the
Yeah.
expected at the end of the day? Is that
Okay.
okay, Suresh?
Yeah, Hussein. Yeah, it is okay.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. Okay. So let me use this page only to put it forward, because to be very frank, as I have already talked to Vishnu today itself, I just asked him that I can have a better discussion with Suresh to understand it in more technical details, that what exactly or what can be the possible things that we are going to look for. But from my end, let me just tell you what usually I covers in those corporate sessions. Okay. So in the corporate sessions, we always starts from diving into the basic stuff. That is how to create a component, right? And then the client labs, the basic stuff. Then the template, okay? Going more in-depth understanding of all of these, right? And experience fragment, it all covers in one single thing. Policies, editable templates, all of that stuff. It all goes alongside. Okay, so you got a basic idea, right? So I used to call it in a front end part, right? So this becomes my front end part, where we covers component, client layers, template, experience fragment, policies, editable templates, on all the stuff that is more relevant to your front end. Okay, so once we are good with the front end part, we try to dig more deeper into the back end stuff. We start from 3 theory lectures, and those theory lectures are very important because if we not start them from the theory lectures, we won't be able to have a basic understanding of OSGI, Sling, and JCR, right? These all three are altogether different concepts, but it's always good to understand them beforehand, diving into the details of implementations, right? Then after once we are good with all these 3 concepts, then we move forward to understand the models, services, servlets, importers, schedulers. Basically, you are getting where I'm reaching with this. Listeners, all 3 types of listeners, query builder, use cases. Okay, and covering major use case scenarios, so that we are able to understand that what all APIs we usually use from out of the box, right? So that will get we can get a fair bit understanding of those using some major use case scenarios. Once we are good with that, at the same time, we will be building all together a traveling blog application. Okay, that's what we used to do when we start the curriculum. So traveling blog app is nothing but it is for the travelers who travel all around the world, and provides uh, some sort of blogging site type, where people can create your pages and have a home page that is also having the personalization stuff done. So all that we will cover gradually with all of these stuff. For example, we get to learn that what is a template, then maybe you must be having an exercise handy where you need to create a component, a template for the homepage of this blogging site. and I will get into the requirements, that what exactly the requirements are, and you can do all fulfill all those requirements on top of it, right? So once we are good till here, then we can, if we still get some time, so we can be able to cover the data layer concepts, how the data layer works, how the cloud configurations works in AEM, right? So basically, and all miscellaneous stuff, whatever comes depending on the time stuff, because this is not going to be the major outcome that I'm looking for. So, but because we are having one more dependency on us, so we can have a separate module altogether where I will make sure that while covering each of those concepts, I will make difference from classic to touch, okay, for all of you guys, just to understand what was there earlier and what has been changed from classic to touch, okay. And if I consider from the class standpoint how much time it will take, it should be, I think, going to be your 40 sessions, as I am considering that we are not going to touch everything from very scratch, right? Because we all know stuff lying over here. We don't need to be at the just a noob layer level. So in 40 session, we can be able to cover all of these use cases and scenarios and all this stuff. And each session would go somewhere alongside 2 to 3 hours. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, yeah, it sounds good. So can we have all this curriculum in MS Word document or
Yeah,
some?
surely. I will provide you the same one. All I wanted to know is, while sharing you with this curriculum, I just want to get comments out of it. If you say, okay, Divanshu, you know what? We are not interested in models. Let us plain Pojo. Why are you spending one class on that? Right? So I just grouped it all together just for your comments to come upon it.
Yeah, sure.
So actually, in this curriculum, we would like to have some kind of how we are going to interact with the third-party tools or third-party libraries using a HTTP or
Yeah.
anything like.
Here you are having this in all these three. Importers are nothing, but the ones that we put on top of it, which fetches your content from your third-party API and dumps it into your JCR repository, like a database, right?
Okay.
And then the servlets and the services. In services, we will cover the REST service IMPL, right? You must have seen this service most of the time. That is nothing but that basically makes you helpful to contact you with the third party resources and gets the data.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I may welcome more questions. That would be even helpful for me to understanding it better, because it's more like I am just putting the things upon in front of you guys. So you need to basically come up with the approach and tell me that, okay, this is all we need, or maybe add this.
Yeah, basically, we are looking for not only for who are the people attending in this session, almost these are have a good little bit good understanding about AEM, whereas we are going
Okay.
to include some of the freshers also. If required, you are going to conduct 2-3 sessions extra, or 4-5 sessions extra for them. Is it okay for you, right?
Yeah, that would be fine for me, but only prerequisite that I am looking for is obviously Java, right? That
Yeah,
whosoever is
Java.
attending this session, I am just assuming that they must be very familiar with the collections and everything.
Yes. That is there. Who are
Okay.
trying to attend these sessions, we will make sure that everybody knows the Java.
Yeah, exactly. So that it is
Okay.
not like going above head, some concepts or anything.
And also,
Okay.
Divanshu,
Yeah.
can we concentrate on in covering all these topics, right? Can we concentrate on what was changed from 6.0 to 6.5?
Yeah,
Some compare.
I will make sure, and I will do a thorough research more just to have every single thing covered on that point, basically,
Yeah, like
that we have
you
everything
said,
lying there.
yeah, you said it is for the UI, right? From classic to touch UI. On
Yeah.
the
Basically, I
backend side
meant the
also.
same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I meant the same. That whatever has been changed from classic to touch, uh, AEM basically, not the UI completely. Okay, let's
Okay.
call it like this: 6.0 to 6.5.
So, and one more thing is like how like I think like document based JCR also covers as part of 6.5. Mongo,
Mhm.
we are going to cover that stuff also.
The JCR?
Yeah, like instead of JCR, like we can have a MongoDB as a like a JCR, if I'm not wrong, in 6.5.
Not exactly. It's still the optional. You can have a MongoMK kernel or the JCR kernel, but still in the
Yeah,
industry,
yeah.
we are using JCR itself.
Are you going to touch base with that, like how we can use a
Sure,
MongoDB?
sure,
Okay.
sure. Okay. And even I just forget to put it forward also. That means it is an optional module to go through the ops operations, right?
Okay.
How the maintainability are being taken care at AEM level, the ops activities, the services, or this is the configuration that does that, and all that stuff.
Okay. So instead of like because like most of the people are already know REST concept or HTTPS concepts, everything. So instead of
Mhm.
concepting a more generic concepts, because like everybody is familiar mostly. So
Okay.
we need kind of more concentrate on internals of AEM. So like
Okay.
more main classes are like how we can do in a better way, like which what are the
Mhm.
classes are or what are the things. So those
Mhm.
kind of uh, those kind of scenario, those kind of uh,
I got the point. I got the point. Maybe I
yeah,
was the one that was looking for this
yeah,
particular stuff maybe some time back. But yeah.
kind of
Okay.
like improvements, like a code quality improvements, like
Right.
which
Exactly.
class like we can use for this
Right.
scenario, so that like
Right.
the code quality as well as the performance also good. So those kind of stuff like
Right.
we are basically
Right.
instead of
Exactly. For
now.
example, yeah, let me give you an example. For example, as I told you, whenever we are going to get the value map, we say resource.getValueMap, map, right? Rather than using
Mhm.
this in model, we can directly inject it, saying add self, and then
Exactly.
just put it over here, right? So
Correct.
all these
Yeah. That's
scenarios, yeah, I will cover it with the best approaches and with the reasoning that, okay, this is why we should use this.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of things we are
Right.
looking.
Yeah, and abstracting models, that how can we achieve the best abstraction.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all my end. Like Hussein, like do you have any other questions?
No, I think you covered the ground, Suresh. So let's get the curriculum and let's get the next steps, like and other thing like as discussed. So let's make it
Okay.
forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing is that I'm looking for is, are we good with this part with 40 sessions, or is it something that you need faster or in lesser time so that I can plan the things accordingly?
We shall let you
Uh,
know once
Yeah.
we get the curriculum. So
Okay.
probably like we want to cover the ground little faster.
Okay.
We are not sure about it, but we'll let you know. Like so this is very like okay. We have the very detailed level curriculum. We can plan
Okay.
accordingly. Yeah, but we are looking
Okay.
for like a little quicker, and at the same time we
Yeah.
want to give our guys to do some practice, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
without this, nothing makes sense. Yeah.
Obviously. Because when after hearing the comments, after putting 40 sessions over here, I can feel that we can be able to cover it in a lesser time. As I can see the confidence with the people saying that, okay, we know all this stuff. You can just go ahead and help us understand in more depth the main stuff, the main crunch of it. right? So over here, I can feel that, okay, we can even cover it in a lesser time rather than 40 sessions. Even it can be like 20 to 30 sessions. Okay.
Sure,
Because
definitely.
now I don't need to help them writing the client lab itself, right? That, okay, in client lab, that's how CSS VM. We can have a quick demo and then we can just move ahead rather than spending time. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So the
right. I
audience,
think that answers my question. Yeah.
so the audience are like experienced audience here. They have experience with the tool.
Right.
Audience like which you get
Right.
are not at the same level though.
Yeah.
That's for information.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. That's a great part to know. So yeah, I'm looking forward, and I think it is going to be a fun understanding it in more depth, and maybe it is going to be a good learning with your questions that will come up.
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Anything else?
We are fine.